So on the 1st of October, the OpenAI team held events in San Francisco, London, and Singapore, where they laid out plans for AI moving forward. And it was very clear by the end of the event that 2025 is going to be the year of the AI agent. What is an agent? Because it's not just an AI that's going to write your poem. It's not like ChatGPT where you give it text and it gives you a text back. We're talking about an AI that's going to be able to book your flight or even manage your schedule. Compare this to an AI chatbot that's only going to respond. An agent will have the ability to take action. So for example, if you ask which is the cheapest flight to Cairo, ChatGPT is going to respond, this is the cheapest flight to Cairo if it has the option of going to the web. So for an agent, it will be which is the cheapest flight to Cairo, and then it's going to tell you this is the cheapest flight to Cairo, and you're going to tell it book it. So it's going to be able to book that plane for you. If you want it to write a marketing campaign, so it will write the marketing campaign, run it, and also tell you where to make improvements. And it's going to make improvements for you. It's going to track the strategies that you're using, and it's going to track the performance, and then it's going to change it on the fly. Immediately it sees that this is the best option, it's going to shift its gears towards that. And that's the power of the AI agent. But for that to become a reality, there are 4 things that need to be done, and these are introduced OpenAI Dev Day. Yeah, this year it's mainly laying the groundwork for these agents to become a reality. And if these agents are going to operate in the real world, then you'll have to understand it. That's why the 4 major updates come in. If you've used ChatGPT voice mode, it's really good. It's very lifelike. It's near instantaneous. You ask it a question, there's no lag, it's going to answer back. This is what the real-time API is pushing through it. So the real-time API improves this by streamlining the audio inputs and outputs directly, enabling them to have a natural conversation. A great way of picturing how this is going to be in the future is, let's say you're trying to go somewhere and you have an AI agent who is showing you the place. As you're talking to it, the map is going to change instantaneously as you talk. And the real-time API is going to improve this by streamlining the audio inputs, so what you're saying directly into it, and then streamlining it. So for example, what happened before was the developers had to transcribe with an automatic speech recognition like Whisper, and then the audio is going to be passed into text, and then the text is going to be put into a text-to-text model reasoning, so something like ChatGPT. And after that, it has to be given back as an output of text, and then the text output now is going to be turned into a speech. So before, all these things were being done differently, but now it's streamlined that process, so it's doing everything all at once. This approach, where we had different things happening in different times, it will lead to loss of emotion, emphasis, accents. It's going to lag, but now it can handle entire process with just one API call. So Healthify is a health diet app that has incorporated the real-time API into its function, so a person who's talking to it can have a very personalized voice assistant. Second update, they've come with is vision fine-tuning, and this is going to make it possible to fine-tune AI using images in addition to text. So it's like a chef who's been shown a handful of ingredients, and then after that they come up with different dishes that have never been seen before. So we're giving ChatGPT a handful of ingredients, and it's coming up with a vast amount of improvement. So for example, it's a company called Grab, which is a food delivery company, and with only 100 images, they were able to fine-tune ChatGPT 4.0 to recognize traffic signs. The base 4.0 model of ChatGPT was not as accurate when it comes to identifying these traffic signs, but when it was fine-tuned with only 100 images, it increased the accuracy by 20%, which is very impressive, to be honest. The other part where we can see fine-tuning coming in is there's a company called CoFrame, and it's building an AI growth engineering assistant that's help like businesses create websites. In the first image that we have here, the section that we wanted to be generated by ChatGPT 4.0 was this last part here. So this is a part of our website, and this part here, the last part, is what we wanted to be generated by ChatGPT 4.0. And in the base model, this is what we got. This is what the base model gave us. Like, it was very, like, it's still good, but it's not as good compared to now what we got with the ChatGPT that has been now fine-tuned. As you can see, this is a way better representation of the site compared to what we get when it was not fine-tuned. So that's vision fine-tuning and how it's going to be very helpful, especially moving forward and in different applications. And to think broadly about the vision fine-tuning is that now we're going to get to the point where we are going to be able to identify tumors with a whole lot more accuracy than we do now. We are going to be able to have way better self-driving cars that will be able to tell the differences between just pedestrians and everything else on the road, but they have a nuanced understanding of the road itself. The other thing that was really cool in the OpenAI Dev for you to understand where we are going with the AI agents is prompt caching. And prompt caching, for you to understand, is every time that you are, so like I use ChatGPT on a daily basis, I use Claude on a daily basis, and then those prompts that you're using constantly. So for example, if you're constantly asking ChatGPT, what is my weather today? And then tomorrow again, what is my weather today? It will get to a point where where it will be able to know that this is what you ask it. So every morning, let's say, it will be able to tell you, yeah, so this is the weather today, because it learns your patterns. And what this means is that the API will be able to remember commonly used prompts, and that's going to allow developers to reduce cost and latency. Prompt caching, in a nutshell, is teaching the AI to remember commonly used prompts. And this is just going to reduce the amount of time and also the amount of prompts it takes. So it's going to be way faster and just easier on your machine as well. The last update before we get to AI agents for this year, just laying the groundwork, is going to be model destination. So model destination is going to involve fine-tuning smaller, cost-efficient models using outputs from just high-end models of ChatGPT. So this is going to allow the performance of the smaller models to match the outputs of the high-end models. Let's picture that we have a chef in a 5-star hotel that we want to hire for our birthday to bake us a cake. The thing though, the chef coming from a very high-end hotel is going to be very expensive. We can't really afford him. So what him or she is going to do is they're going to give us the assistant who they've already taught how to bake that same cake. They know the ingredients, they know the output, they know how many degrees it should be inside the oven. And this assistant is now who we can afford, because he's like half the price. He doesn't have as much experience, but he knows the output. He's already been taught this specific thing, how to bake this cake. And that's what model distillation is. OpenAI is basically taking knowledge from the best performing models and then distilling them into more affordable models. So this means that more people are going to have access to these AI tools, but the cost is going to be brought down, but the accuracy is going to be maintained. As excited as I am for the AI agents to come, I think vision fine-tuning, prompt caching, model distillation, and real-time API are going to have bigger consequences for our future compared to what happened last year. So that's what happened in OpenAI Dev Day. I hope that makes sense to you. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully AI agents are not going to take over the world. That's what we are kind of praying for. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.